Welcome to episode 137 of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Sunday night. Myself, Drew Skyberg, bringing you, of course, your weekly Wisconsin sports show here during halftime of Sunday Night Football. Yes, 17-10 is the Philly-Miami. What a game so far. But we're here to talk about Wisconsin sports. So we'll get into that. But again, I'll run through what's going on here. Myself, Drew Skyberg. Today, we're going to be, of course, discussing that disgusting performance in Denver for Green Bay. Boy, picking a player, the game was brutal on that. But then also we'll be going through the Bucks, Milwaukee Bucks. I was hoping to have someone on, just didn't work out again with scheduling. Doing a Bucks season preview. I'll get the rundown. We'll talk about the last preseason game for the Milwaukee Bucks against Memphis. It took place on Friday. We'll run through those. But otherwise, that's going to be the main slate here. We're going to preview week 8, right, for the Packers facing Minnesota at home. Otherwise, just some announcements before we start. Instagram, X, and TikTok at Drew Sports Crew. You all know the drill. Facebook and YouTube, Drew's Sports Crew. Also, with the NBA season starting, here comes the NBA Power Rankings and the Milwaukee Bucks Prediction Challenge. They will return for a second season, and they will debut tomorrow. One of them will. It'll be probably the Power Rankings first. Want to have those out, and just hint, Bucks are number 1. We'll see what people in the comments think. It's always interesting to see those differing views. I'm going to get the Boston should be 1. Denver should be 1. Why is LA so low? Like the classics. Where's Philly? Like why are they low? Whatever. You all know the drill for that. Then the Bucks Prediction Challenge, yes, is going to be another one that will be, of course, coming out. I'll have that out Tuesday with the Bucks season opener Thursday. It's crazy how we're already there. I'll also talk a little bit about, I guess, today too, the scrimmage. I saw a little bit of clips. It was interesting. I've been to one of those before. I don't know. It's a scrimmage. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's engaging for the fans. They had $5 tickets in their student rush program, I believe. So just a great experience. Nonetheless. Going through other announcements. Again, I have a Wisconsin Sports Spotlight guest who's coming on. A very, very, very great official for the WIA, who I'm just working. We're working on time here. Was hoping for this week. Unfortunately, as you know, that's not the case. I'm looking now with the NBA season starting. I want to, for off weeks of the Wisconsin Sports Spotlight, we're going to bring back the basketball crew, right? I want to still bring back some of the betting content, and it's going to be fun, right? I always love previewing those basketball slates. The one frustrating thing is those game time decisions, those last minute scratches. I'm hoping we're going to have those reduced this year. With the 65 game minimum requirement now for players to be eligible for awards and such. But the point is that I want to make sure bringing again high quality episodes. I talked about this last week. That comes to why just waiting on these guests. Like I have some guests lined up, but I don't want to schedule too far in advance. So just working on getting these episodes in, and we'll roll from there. But that's what's up with that. The Wisconsin Sports Spotlight was not just a one and done. There's going to be recurring episodes more on a bi-weekly basis, and there's guests lined up. I assure you that. I'm really excited. I already have some of the graphics and stuff made for it. It's going to be a great interview, great guest, great episode, and I'll just keep your eyes out for that at True Sports Crew. Again, I'll be posting like, hey, I'm going to be live in 20-30 minutes with so-and-so. I like to just give you, I'll give more of a reminder, but the point is I'll give a notice. So that's announcement wise. Journey to Million Wednesday at 4. You know the drill. It was a rough week. I think it's going to be a rough week for player / team picks, at least on my end. I did the Cup Stafford or Stafford Cup stack, and I had Love and Musgrave. It was terrible. Not a good stack for me. Was banking on Denver's which this is the transition here going into player picks talking. I had Love and Musgrave, right? That stack again in 6 point per passing touchdown did okay, but of course on the quarterback side, I thought like I was just chatting with people. I'm like, I think Jay Love is the player of the game. I think he's gonna be the player. This was after that tip drill touchdown pass we'll talk about. Um, I was like, he's gonna be player of the game, and then oh oh boy, and then he wasn't. Um, let's go through that game. So now getting into the episode. The Green Bay Packers right off their Week 6 bye for Week 7 have a gift. A gift being a game against the Denver Broncos, the before 1-5 Denver Broncos, a team that has given up 70 points, one of the worst defenses in all of football, a team that looked lost. They were 0-3 at home prior to this game. Packers were favored by like ESPN, some other things. And it was like, okay, they came in with a 60.1% win probability per ESPN. That kind of paints right the picture of how this game goes for Green Bay. Right, there's expectation to win, and yeah, I mean to start, offense is flat. I mean that's really how I'd sum it up. Going through how it went, and then if we kind of just go through some of how we got to the score, right? Right, the first quarter came in, Denver. I mean, right, they had a nice. It was 11 plays, 62-yard drive, 6.5 minutes off the clock to start the game. They go up 3-0. It's like, okay, Packers get a stop. It could have been worse. Thinking they put up 6 there or potentially 7, right? And then right, Packers gets balled, nothing, right? Nothing goes. And the defense holds them to another field goal. They had 11 play, 70-yard drive for 4:17 that they took off the clock. They go up 6-0. Anders Carlson misses a field goal. Then unfortunately, but then we get Will Lutz a 35-yarder before half, pushes it 9-0 Denver at half was the score. Packers offense was nowhere to be seen. Aaron Jones, although active, it felt was nowhere to be seen as well. Packers down some starters on defense, Campbell, and then also Jair Alexander as well. Okay, so Packers down 9-0 half. It's like the offense isn't there. Frustrating is just a simple word. The offense seems almost vanilla, is how I explain it. Like it's just it's plain. I mean, the ball. It doesn't feel like we're fitting Jordan Love's play style per se. I'll get in that here in the second half, right? And it also could be a little bit on the quarterback, right? I mean, that's something we have acknowledged. Going here in the third quarter, though, Anders Carlson, 12 caps off the 12-play, 64-yard drive with a 29-yard field goal, puts the Packers on the board 9-3. Cortland Sutton then gives the Broncos a nice 13-point lead with an 18-yard touchdown reception from Russell Wilson. 16-3, right? Romeo Doubs then gets the Packers with their first touchdown of the game. 16-10. Anders Carlson kicked that extra point. It was good. And that was a really smooth 9-play, 75-yard drive. Then the fourth quarter, the Jaden Reed tip drill touchdown reception from Jordan Love. It was an interesting play there. 17-16 Packers go up. Lutz gets a 52-yarder with 3:50 left. 19-17 Packers then get the ball back with a chance to hit a game-winning field goal. That chance we do not get to. Going through just that drive overall. I mean, the moment where I was like, okay, regardless win or lose, AJ Dillon, is going to be your player of the game. And looking in hindsight, like when I say looking in hindsight here, like looking just a few weeks back, not even the start of the season, a few weeks ago, with how Dillon performed, I was like, is he going to really have like a role? Like, is he going to be getting touches? This was his best game of the season. I mean, hands down, how he performed today. Again, it was against Denver, I know, but 29-yard reception for Dillon. The longest play of the game for the Packers came at a great time. And then we get to the 2-minute warning basically. And then That holding call there on Elton Jenkins ended up being a huge one, making it 2nd and 20. And then, right, it was a passing complete. And then we go to 3rd and 20. Okay. And then breaking this play down, right? AJ Dillon open in the flats. Basically, your safety valve here. You're thinking he doesn't get it. I mean, the Green Bay's at the 46. So it's like, okay, if he even gets 10 yards, it's still going to be a tough field goal. Like that's not doable. They're gonna probably have to go for it, right? He you need at least like 15 yards or something to make it a shot. It felt, and it was like okay, Packers did not get that, but the point is, Love takes a shot downfield, an unnecessary shot. It almost felt downfield, and into double coverage, picked off. I mean, no, it wasn't even close. That was it. I mean, that was your game. Then the Broncos did the right thing. They just throwing the ball out of bounds on the 4th down. And there you go. So again, the Denver moves to 2-5, gets their first win on at home. Packers moved to 1-3 on the road. It was just one of your more frustrating Packer losses. I mean, the first half definitely had Packer fans questioning this offense in general. And we'll break down the box score, kind of what was going on. Aaron Jones, a total of 11 touches today, right? Packers ran right around 60 plays. On average, a team usually runs 60 plays or so, I'd say. And out of those plays, right, it was leading the way. It was A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon had a total of 17 touches, right? 2 receptions, 15 carries. And look, A.J. Dillon, great, a great clubhouse guy, great locker room guy. I don't know if he's the weapon that should be utilized most in this offense. And I say I don't know. I know he's not. I think that's kind of where we start here. Definitely. I mean, it starts with Jordan Love. I mean, going there, how he performed today: 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 21 of 31, 180 yards. And it came down, for him, there's a few decisions there. It was like few throws, but really, I mean, it's that interception that ruins his day. Quite frankly, he did. He played okay. I don't want to say he did like enough like for this team to win. He did okay. I think it's been a stretch for Jordan Love the last 3 games or so. It hasn't played great. Hasn't played to the standards that we saw the first few games, and I think that's something. Just looking at this team, realizing we're gonna have to run the ball more, and that's where you see them run the ball 29 times this game. Again, Dillon averaging 4.1 a carry. Okay. Jones 4.4. Like, there's got to be more in this offense. When I say vanilla, Dillon just running the ball up the gut or running counters isn't gonna be enough for this offense. Dillon doesn't have the breakaway speed. He's almost struggling to break through the first level, and then from there he doesn't have the breakaway speed to break the second level. That's where we saw that 15-yard long run he had, and then also he had a 29-yard long reception. That there were some flashes today. I know it was against Denver, but things like that made it look very nice for Green Bay today. On the receiving side, I know this is where a lot of frustration stems for Packer fans. Jones 3 for 22, Watson 3 for 27. Your 2 top weapons per se, like definitely having limited roles in this offense. And that Denver secondary is not bad for whatsoever. So like definitely that's something to note. But just wanted to highlight that. AJ Dillon leading the team in receiving yards and rushing yards. Sums up your day. You're not going to win if that's the case. Musgrave, unfortunately, takes that heavy hit. Ejectable, I guess I should say flagrant hit. Not basketball, though, right? But an unsportsmanlike hit, per se. 4 for 30 was Musgrave today. Definitely had a good role in the offense, as I anticipated. A healthy target share, but definitely just frustrating to see. He's been a great player and will continue, and we'll just continue to progress, I feel. Otherwise, right? I mean, Musgrave led the team in receptions. Dobbs was 2 for 30 with the touchdown. Watson might be hurt again. As Packers, this is a rough game count out of. I mean, really rough. Definitely had higher expectations than this. I paint the picture for you. Packers were favored to win this game, you know, um, and just frustrating how it turned up. One thing though for the defense, not really creating those turnovers was an issue. Only having one sack was Preston Smith having that jersey sack. I mean, it was not really a sack, kind of, but not getting those turnovers was, I'd say, definitely of note for this team. Um, that's something we definitely need to see from this Green Bay defense, and you just wonder if there's going to be a coaching change mid-season. Not a head coach. I'm not saying that by any means. I'm just saying, like, right, we talked about Joe Barry for a few weeks, and I know Packer fans are calling for it across the world. Um, just a change at the defensive helm. I don't know if we're there yet, and right after giving up 19 points, it's like, why are you calling for one? Just schematically, right, how we've seen things turn up. Devontae Adams being on Preston Smith for a play in a game prior, right, against Vegas. But in this game, it's just, right, got to get stops, and Green Bay did in the red zone, which was good, but got to get turnovers with it. Definitely to help the offense out. I mean, now Green Bay sitting again 2-4, really tied for second. In the NFC North. Detroit just wow, what a brutal game for them today. But um, I mean, Minnesota, if they win tomorrow, they'll have sole possession of second place. If they lose, Green Bay will have sole possession in what has been an ugly bottom three in the NFC North so far in 2023. With again Chicago, Green Bay, and Minnesota just not living up to expectations. Maybe Chicago is, but like Green Bay and Minnesota each respectively not living up to those expectations. Um, so I'd say that's kind of where I'd point to. Just wondering, again with this Green Bay team previewing Week 8 against Minnesota. Minnesota's coming off a short week, playing Monday night to play Green Bay in Lambeau. You definitely, right? I mean, the expectation there for Green Bay, it's there. I mean, you anticipate Green Bay winning that game. No Justin Jefferson for Minnesota, and again they have a shortened week. There's an expectation there with that Packers squad to come out with a win. Um, I want to look at that game's looking at right now in terms of predictions or the line for it. And again, this game's next Sunday at noon on Fox. Vikings right now are given like a 55% chance to win. Green Bay, the line right now -1.5. So that's what we're looking at. But again, I know it's early. I'm looking at this 8 weeks, or really 8 weeks, really a week in advance. And I can tell you what we're watching right now. Devondre Campbell. I mean, these are the guys who are going to be probably we're going to monitor this week, and we will. Devondre Campbell, Darnell Savage, Eric Stokes, Dante Wyatt, and Luke Musgrave are the guys we're going to monitor in this one. As right, look at today, I mentioned I'll add Christian Watson too. We just saw at the end of the game today. Some questions on whether he will be back or not, just with that injury he incurred at the end. And again, Jair, we anticipate being back, I think, and he was out with his back, is what we'll be watching. And Stokes also is one we'll be watching. I mean, just overall, like these guys, you notice it's a lot in defense. Defensive tackle, cornerback, safety, corner, linebacker. Just reading off positions. The defense is hurting. Definitely need some guys back. And it's just frustrating to see. That's going to wrap up the football talk. Let's go over to basketball. Let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks here. The season kickoff is coming here soon, Thursday, October 26th, at home versus Philly. The first two games for them will be out at home, 6:30 p.m. on TNT. And then on Sunday, 6 p.m. on Bally Sports Wisconsin. Those are your 2 games this week. The prediction challenge again. I like the Bucks in both those matchups at home. I'm worried about the back-to-back already. So they have a back-to-back already from Sunday to Monday. It's Atlanta to Miami. They're both at home, but that Miami game scares me next Monday the 30th. So it's just cool to see the season kicking off. I'm excited for NBA basketball to return. I mean, aren't we all? Just something to pick us up after the Brewers' disappointing ending. Definitely a great thing to have. But talking through the depth of the team, what we saw in the last and final preseason game on the Bucks side was a 124-116 victory over Memphis. Giannis played a lot, which was good to see. Definitely happy seeing him with 26 points, 12 of 18 from the field. It's really good to just get him out there for good minutes, and 27 minutes that was. Damian Lillard played 27. Still hasn't had that big game, but he was 2 for 9 from 3, 19 points. He did okay. He had 4 turnovers though, 3 fouls. Giannis had 4 turnovers as well. Middleton didn't play well. That's a concern we still have. Lopez did solid. Malik Beasley is definitely going to be like a guy who, when he's in rhythm, is going to make a great impact for this Bucks squad. Otherwise, I mean, the questions come from a few guys, and it starts with Robin Lopez. I don't know what role he's going to have with this team. He had 4 offensive rebounds on Friday, but it's going to be rough. I mean, the backup center position is going to be a rough one for this team. I think that wasn't the right signing. I know the rapport with the brother and him returning was cool, but I don't know. I'm skeptical, and I will remain skeptical. However, just how they brought in Beasley, I love that. Crowder, he still is getting minutes. This is great. 8 points there. With I need a plus 15 plus minus. Beauchamp, who is 7 for 9, 4 from 5 from 3, could not miss, had 18. Thanasis put up 6 points with it, but AJ Green was 3 for 6 from 3, and then he finished again with those 9 points. So just overall, I think with this Bucks team, we saw the bench guys step up in this one, which is kind of what you want, right? Because that's what we expect from this, in preseason. But again, the big news this week was with Terry Stotts, former Trailblazer coach too, resigning from the assistant coach spot. Ended up being a weird timing, just so close to the season. The report was more of regarding just after practice, just last week, just with Adrian Griffin while he talked to the coaches, and just a disagreement or Stotts was walking the other way. It seemed kind of weird how the story was broken down. I'm not too sure on there's more on the Terry Stotts side that I feel we don't know. Right, it was his personal decision. We don't know too much. We're gonna probably learn more as time goes on, I feel, but definitely a weird one. Not one you expected to see just last week even. So monitoring that, but had to make note of that because that was definitely a surprise for me. Checking that out just a few days ago, seeing that, but feels like the starting 5. Malik Beasley is gonna get that spot, or Jay Crowder, depending on how they want to go. Depending on how Middleton is. I think if Middleton doesn't go, I think it's, when I say Middleton, if he's gonna have a night off, or it's gonna be Lillard, Beasley, Crowder, Giannis, and Lopez. Right now, I think it's gonna be Dame, Malik Beasley, Chris Middleton, Giannis. And it's kind of what we expected. We expected Beasley or Crowder. At least that's what I expected. A lot of people had Connaughton in the mix there, but I think Crowder's going to get like 25 minutes a night off the bench to start here, 2025. Same with Pat Connaughton. Cam Payne's not going to factor as much as we thought, but credit Ty Washington. That's a guy I haven't mentioned yet, who off the bench provides good length. Definitely a great court vision, passing ability off the bench. He's going to be a solid bench guard. I mean, could definitely lead the reserve offense, and definitely would mesh well with, if Giannis is out there with some of the reserves. Could feel that might be a good thing to watch. I'm just excited to see more in regular season action. Preseason doesn't really help us to analyze a lot of the game, unfortunately, because based on these last few games, Damian Lillard is not a great NBA player, but we know that's not true. So just things like that is what I want to keep monitoring. But overall, the squad, right? I mentioned the starting five, your reserves. I anticipate we might see Payne work in there more, but it's gonna be Connaughton, it's gonna be Beauchamp, it's gonna be Crowder, Bobby Portis, maybe, and that's if they want to go big. It's gonna be Lopez, but mostly Portis is gonna work in there. Tata Washington and AJ Green are going to see some minutes in games either near the end or where someone's not doing great and they need a pick me up. Those guys are going to get in. Then also Lindell Wigington. I think he's going to have a spot. That's going to be working in there. And then, of course, Thanasis is your last guy. Iconic, but that's how the offense or the roster is going to shape out. Some guys who we saw in the preseason unfortunately got waived, including Amari Moore. That's a guy we saw in the summer league. Also, Drew Timmy, right? You know him from Gonzaga. There he is. And then a few others as well. But those are the main guys who, the notable ones who got that. Marcus Bolden, a center who was working in who's working on the preseason a little bit. I think a big driver of this was announced yesterday, is due to Lopez's performance. I think Marcus Bolden's going to get a shot here, two-way contract with Milwaukee. He's going to be working with the Herd up in Oshkosh, but also we're going to see him here in Milwaukee working with the squad. It's going to be an interesting mix here, but that's what I had to report on here. Comment your thoughts, kind of how you all are feeling that, of course, on that down below. But otherwise, that's all I have here. I'm excited for this week, right? We have Packers are going to get some well-deserved rest throughout this week. I say well-deserved rest, but like well-needed rest. How about that? I don't know if it's deserved based on today's performance. To hopefully bring that win there next week. Looking forward to more Brewers news. Excited to report hopefully more on the ballpark if we can get more there, and some free agency stuff and overall how that's going. Otherwise, right? It's basketball season, right? You see the Fear the Deer flag near the back. I have the Packer colors going on. I still have the Brewers flag up. That's going to stay. But otherwise, that's going to wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skybrick, here on this Sunday night. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.